B-side in boxing.
B-side shit.
B-side.
B-side.
And the B-side.
You got a B-side.
The B-side.
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 That B-side thing.
This is the B-Sides Boxing Podcast.
Hey, welcome to Best of the Mid-Year Picks with the Boxing B-Sides. So we're going to do something a little different. I did get some voicemail audio. I'm going to be cutting that in per category. Prepare yourself for that change of audio. And we also got drip later. So without further ado, let's get to it. All right, let's get this fucking thing going. The Boxing B-Sides with the supplemental homie jumping off of the MMA train, joining us on boxing. Isaac, happy to have you here on the Boxing B-Sides with us.
Happy to be here, man.
Okay, picks of the mid-year. Was hoping to get this out like a week, 2 weeks ago, but whatever. Here we are. It's time to get this thing rolling. So categories: fight, fighter, new face, new challenger, whatever you want. Kind of a rookie thing, but doesn't necessarily have to be that new. Upsets, stoppage, comeback, villain, and hero. So let's get started with fight of the mid-year.
Okay. So this is definitely me being biased because I was there, and it's not going to be anyone else's pick. But I thought the Ioka fight, and I don't even remember who beat him.
Martinez?
It's my favorite so far this year. Yes.
It was a good
I
fight.
thought it was just really fun, and being there was really awesome. So I know it's probably not the actual best fight of the year, but it is to me.
No, it's a good one. And I think being there does add to it, because that's what my pick is too, is one I was there for.
Yeah, it was back and forth and a lot of action. Like, it was super exciting. It's too bad that Ioka lost, but
I referenced this fight several times throughout my picks. Oh, that's a good one though. Isaac, what do you got?
Yeah, for me, so I try to take into account a bunch of factors. So for me, I put Usyk versus Fury. I just thought the whole, everything with the walkouts, heavyweight undisputed on the line, we got multiple momentum swings within the fight. It was just a really special night. It took me a while to go to sleep that night after watching that fight. It was just tremendous. And then, Usyk landing the big punch that hurt Fury. We saw him straddling the ropes. I mean, it's something we'd seen Fury knocked down before, but seeing him like that, it was, it was weird seeing someone 6'9" on the ropes that much. So yeah, that was my fight of the year.
Yeah, that's always the factor that I forget to bring into consideration, is the magnitude of the event. I always forget about that.
And that was huge.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
a really good pick too.
Huge in more ways than one.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, that's a very good pick. I completely forgot about it.
Yeah, that felt like last year.
For mine, I went with Estrada versus Bam Rodriguez. Partly I was there, but also the back and forth. Estrada goes down round 4, Bam goes down in 6, and then the fight ends in the 7th. It was really cool.
That was on my honorable mentions.
It was electric. What are your honorable mentions? I have one as well.
I had Bam versus Rodriguez as well, or Estrada.
Man, I had one under the radar. Kenshiro Taraji versus Carlos Canizales in January. Random ass card at 2 a.m. here in the U.S., but it was still really fun.
Oh, I remember watching that one on TV. Yeah, it was good.
Right.
I don't. There's so many good fights this year. It's hard to just pick a couple.
Yeah, and then the recency at bios always gets me. I always forget. I forget the early fights in the year.
Oh, for sure.
I started from January and moved up just to make sure I didn't forget anything. And looking at my list here, I did in a later category. But
Fight of the year in boxing, Usyk versus Fury. Big reason for this was just it was a heavily anticipated matchup that actually lived up to the hype. Very few fights in boxing these days, when we get like the mega fight between the two stars, actually live up to the standard that we set in our minds as a fan. Like very, very few. The last one I can really remember getting to this level was Canelo and Triple G1, and the second one, of course. But rarely do the super fights work out the way we hope. We thought Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence would be that, ended up being a one-sided ass kicking. So I'm glad that this fight was not only competitive, but just really delivered on the status that was set for crowning the first undisputed heavyweight champion in 20 years.
fighter of the mid-year.
Yeah, so here, like, this one wasn't, like, super clear to me, like, which one to pick, but again, I went with Usyk just, again, because, like, of the magnitude. I mean, heavyweight undisputed, it means something.
It's huge. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it means something. And, I mean, there's a chance. I mean, we're going to get to see the rematch later this year as well. If he beats Fury again, I really don't know who else could, like, take the title of fighter of the year from him. Like, in my opinion, at least. But yeah, I put Usyk as my fighter of the year just because of what he accomplished.
Nice. Yeah, if Usyk wins the rematch, I think he just retires and rides off into the sunset.
Yeah, being listed among top 5 all-time heavyweights.
Yeah. Undefeated as well.
For sure. That's huge.
Well, and I feel like Usyk's the type of guy that could do that. He's not going to stick around longer than he needs to.
Yeah, he's smart. I feel like he's not going to let the sport retire him.
Eat your fucking heart out, Marciano.
Yep.
Quality of opponents, man. All right, you had Usyk. Mine, I had 2 kind of off-the-wall picks, but my first is William Zepeda. He has 2 stoppages in the first half of the year, and he has more lined up. I expect he's going to go for 4 this year. So the shrimp for me.
Just gut feeling, I went with Bam. I feel like Bam's on the rise. He's such a nice kid.
Why did I write it away? That's just...
because you expected it be my pick.
I kind of did. I just defaulted to what I thought it was going to be.
Not so far this year.
Yeah, I have him listed later, but we'll get to that in a moment. Did anyone have any honorable mentions for fighter of the mid-year?
There's a lot of people doing really well, and your guys' picks all make sense to me. I'm sure if I sat and thought about it more instead of just writing down the first name. But...
I picked Hamza Shiraz as my honorable mention.
Oh.
Another 2 stoppages in the first half. The Tiger Tamer.
Yeah, that's a decent pick. Yeah, that's a decent pick.
And he's kind of sneaking up on people, I think. So that might be... I wasn't sure if I should put him in new face or this. So I don't know. Half and half, I suppose.
And moving right along into fighter, I have to give Usyk fighter of the year so far, even though he's only fought once. Like I said, being the first undisputed heavyweight champion in 20 years, it's hard to really give it to anyone else. And it's such a historic accomplishment, especially when you consider his career of being a amateur cruiserweight, ended up unifying the cruiserweight belt and stepping up a weight class in an era where we don't just have heavyweights now, we have super heavyweights. So being able to do that as a smaller guy, being outweighed by 35, 40 pounds, not impressive.
But moving into new face, I picked Gabriela Fundora. That when she was on the Ryder Munguia card, had a really dramatic. It was a really back and forth fight, and then a dramatic finish in the final round, like just as it was winding down. And she's really cute and fun. She seems like a really nice person, really fun to be around. So I picked her.
Nice.
Sweet Poison is her nickname. I didn't know that.
That's a pretty cool nickname.
That's a very good nickname. All right, yeah. For me, so just like to get a little bit of history on this, when I was writing out these picks, I was actually watching the Shakur undercard, and I really didn't know, who I was gonna pick, as a new face. But my mind was immediately changed when I saw Abdullah Mason's performance. I know he's not like a super new fighter,
Yeah,
but he was new to me. And bro, his performance was outrageous.
yeah, I love.
Like, I mean,
Mason.
it's someone I'm gonna tune in to watch now every single time he's fighting.
Yep.
Complete fighter. I mean, I'm excited to see where he goes. Very excited, and he's young too, super young.
He is what Shakur wishes he was.
Yes, exactly.
I actually did not come up with a name for this one. There is that one guy that was on the undercard at one of the fights.
Oh,
it was his debut, and I was really impressed. Aoi Yokoyama, I think.
Yokoyama?
But that's a super niche pick, but it's the only one I can think of.
Well, you were there, so makes sense to me.
Well, and I'm really bad at names because I know there's another guy that's been fighting on undercards. He's American, but I can't even remember what like ethnicity he is right now. So I'm gonna go with Yokoyama. I think he's probably gonna do something eventually.
Of all the boxers currently active, he certainly is one of them.
He is one of them.
I didn't have any. Yeah, I didn't have any mentions here. I guess Hamza Shiraz, just to re-mention, but it's like your Isaac with your pick, Abdullah Mason. Like, he's been around, and if you keep up with the British scene, you absolutely already know who he is. But he was pretty new for me, so this was it was good to see like the wasteland that is middleweight having a pretty decent contender coming up.
Yeah.
New face of boxing. So when I had to make this pick, I realized perhaps in my quest to not be the ultimate casual on the ultimate effing casuals, I've become the ultimate casual of boxing because I don't know many new faces that have emerged this year. So I'm going to throw Tenshin Nasukawa in. Even though he technically started boxing in 2023, he's boxed twice this year already, and he seems to be making real inroads into the sport. So I will give that new face to him.
All right, upset.
All right, yeah. For me, like, again, I was trying to factor in like magnitude, what people were expecting, and maybe like a little bit, the betting odds. So I was doing some research, and I decided on Liam Paro, or Liam Pero. His win over Matias by unanimous decision. I mean, I was looking at the odds on some bookies. He was a plus 640, and I mean, I thought Matias was gonna dog walk him.
Same.
And I think even like the day before, or maybe even the day of, I had a conversation about Matias being Puerto Rico's like only boxing hope after like Berlanga and Xander's like sort of mid performances.
Yeah, mid.
But man, he ended up losing, and I was like, man, it's sort of over for Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
But
Oscar Collazo is all they got. Minimum weight.
Yeah,
Good luck with that.
Minimum weight, yeah. But yeah, no, Liam, I mean, he made a name for himself.
For sure.
And he got a belt out of this as well. So that I feel like that's pretty big.
Man, yeah, that is a good one.
Yeah, I did not expect Pero to do anything because I'd never heard of him.
Yeah, you could listen to our episode from before that fight, and we were talking about like, rest in peace, Paro. I hope you got a good life insurance policy.
Yeah, one of our famously accurate calls.
Absolutely, we're really good at this.
Mm-hmm. I have two upset of the years. Kakachi upsetting.
Nice.
What's his name? Goddamn. Sorry, it's early
Joe
and I
something.
am.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know you're talking about. It was like
Cordina.
Yeah, there's like a little bit of controversy in that fight too. But yeah, it was super.
There was.
It's really
well,
fun,
and
though.
Kakachi is just a fun name to say. But my runner-up pick is definitely recency bias. But how the fuck did Chisora upset Joyce?
Oh my god, yeah.
Yep,
Like,
I had that as an
Yeah.
honorable mention as well. Is how the fuck did that happen? I cannot believe it.
how did 40-year-old Chisora pull that out of his ass?
He has a lot more mileage on him than Joyce does, even though Joyce is not that much younger. Still, the boxing years are like fucking dog years.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like Chisora has been ridden hard and put away wet. He's worked like a dog.
Yep.
It's a true gatekeeper for the division.
I hope he retires soon, but that win, unfortunately, is going to extend his career, I think.
He said 2 more. He has 2 more on his contract with Queensberry. So he's going to do... I don't know what he's going to do with it, but I hope they take it easy on him and do like the Roman Gonzalez fucking home run around the bases,
Yeah.
waving to everyone.
I know Chisora hasn't done anything too epic in the sport, but he deserves a victory lap, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was key in the boxing community.
A pillar. Yep. All right, so I have some fun, like, cheeky picks, but my legit one was Alberto Puello beating Antoine Russell for the interim WBC 140. This is one of those things where if you knew Puello, you could have seen this coming. If you were familiar with Russell, then you also would have seen the writing on the wall here. But for a lot of people, this one, like, Puello snuck out of nowhere. He was supposed to fight Raleigh for the WBA belt, but he ended up pulling out of that one. I think he tested positive for something, so they pulled him from the fight, and it ended up being like a false positive. It was really
Nice.
weird. But here he is, and he breaks Gary Antoine Russell's super awesome KO streak. But that's my legit pick. Now, do you guys have honorable mentions before I get?
Yeah, I have one.
What do you
I
got?
have one. It's not like the best one, but I mean, I feel like the Ryan Garcia Haney one has to be mentioned, just because of like everything that Garcia was involved in before the fight. I mean, him missing weight. I mean, all the antics that
Yeah.
were leading in. I mean, I thought Garcia was in a bad space, and I thought Haney was gonna beat Garcia bad, but I was super wrong.
I was expecting him to get beat pretty badly as well.
I just want him to disappear.
He almost did. Didn't you see? He got kidnapped.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so much stuff going on right now with him.
Yeah, he's...
Did you see his ridiculousness after the Pacquiao exhibition?
No.
What did he say?
He came into the ring to, like, challenge them. I don't know. It was super weird. But he didn't even know the Japanese guy's name. He's like, and whoever this guy is. And I was like, oh my God, just go away. Like, Jesus.
All right. One of my cheeky upsets is I was upset that Kazuto Ioka got 120 to 108. That
Oh, my
bullshit
God.
score. Terrible.
And the look on his face when they read it,
Yeah.
he was so sad.
Yeah, he knew he was getting worked. That he was there to be. He was brought in to lose.
Yeah. Well, and I went on a big rant, but they fucked him his whole career.
Yes, they did. I didn't know the extent of it. And my other one was Chisora beating Joyce. That was my other one.
Upset of the year. I had to look up the odds for this, and I'm still shocked when I look at these odds in hindsight. But Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney is the upset of the year. Ryan Garcia was a plus 550 dog. Devin Haney was a minus 600 favorite. Common knowledge or common sense is probably the word I'm looking for, would make you think that, okay, so I guess the phone machine has a beef with me, so I'll try and restart my thoughts on upset of the year, which was Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney. Garcia was a plus 550 dog, and Haney was a 600 favorite. And just like coming into this fight, just the build-up was just insane for all the wrong reasons. Ryan going full schizophrenia mode. Seems like he's lost the plot, posting really insane stuff on his social media handles, seemingly partying instead of training. And yet, he comes into the fight. He knocks Devin Haney down 3 times and is able to steal a unanimous decision in a fight that I think most educated observers would thought wouldn't have happened. Now, a lot of that may be down to just the overrating of Devin Haney. I personally have not rated him, and I felt like the areas where he would struggle, particularly with just the way he would initially establish himself in a fight and then just coast. Like, that's not a good idea when you have someone like Ryan Garcia that carries his power all 12 rounds. So, perhaps a bit of a fraud check, but nonetheless, massive upset of the year there.
All right, stoppage.
Okay, so this one is the only one I managed to find time to research. The Baldy knockout of Silva. He just shut his brain off. I didn't know whether to put this one as the stoppage or the comeback, because it's kind of both.
Was Ashton winning for the most part? I didn't see the fight.
Yeah, it was Gabe Rosado versus Beck the Bully.
Oh.
Like, he was getting his ass kicked until all of a sudden he wasn't.
That qualifies for both.
Yeah. I hadn't seen the fight, but it was on somebody's list, and I went and watched it, and it's worth a watch. Like,
man, and I was talking up Silva before this. Before that, when we were talking about Jake Paul, his potential as a promoter, if he were to stop boxing and focus on that. But we'll see if we can save the sinking ship here.
Well, and it's one of those ones where he was winning every second.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't necessarily mean he's not that good. He just got caught badly.
Yeah. Stoppage. I'm gonna give the cheeky one first because it's more fun. The stoppage for me of the mid-year is the doctor mercifully stopping the fight when Sonny Edwards had a cut on his face, because nobody wanted to see any more of that.
That was gross.
It was, and then he like jiggled it on the camera. It was not very fun. But the fight was really boring. And yeah, I'm glad that they stopped it. Thanks, Doc. My actual pick is Erislan Lara with the counter on Michael Zarafa back in PBC on Prime debut.
Oh, yeah, that was this year.
Yep.
God damn, years are so long.
That was mine.
Yeah, for me, when I was like thinking about this, I had originally thought about the Pro Box card, like the Terrence Williams, like the brutal KO he had on Sosa. But then Lucas Body came in and wrote his name down, like in permanent ink. If a knockout beats that this year, I'm honestly not sure like how brutal that's gonna be, because this Body KO wasn't just like a brutal punch, but it was a brutal like combination where every single punch in the combination was a knockout punch. Like, it's probably one of the more vicious knockouts I've seen in a while. It's one of those where I whenever I saw H2O's body hit the ground, I was like, man, because he started like convulsing on the ground a little bit. I actually got a little bit worried whenever he fell. And I mean, if you like watching that kind of stuff, I definitely check it out, because it was a good fight and Body was losing every single second of that fight. But I mean, he put together a combination that shut H2O's lights off. Really bad KO.
Yeah, like the face down on the canvas.
Face plant. Really bad.
If you haven't seen it, Leo, you should at least go watch the knockout.
Yeah, I think I need to check this out. Because when you said Pro Box, it just sparked the memory of Vladimir Hernandez knocking out the Argentine dude has like his name's like Guido Emanuel Zimmerman or something like that.
Oh yeah, he's got the 3 different
Yeah, the Italian,
nationality names.
Argentine, and
There was
fucking-
another pro box brutal knockout.
Yeah, that one
I
was
had
pretty
like the
rough.
Sosa one where his arms were like posturing up, but I didn't know there was another one.
Pro Box has actually quite a few brutal
yeah.
knockouts.
They're one of my hero picks, just for how awesome they are. But
Yeah, and the bring out the smocks is such a good catch line,
is.
tagline.
Stoppage of the year, Javante Davis versus Frank Martin. Probably there are better, like, or at least more shocking, like, flatline KOs that have happened this year. But this one I really loved because there's so much skill involved in just the footwork and the ring generalship and just like the first real opening Davis got, he pounced and knocked him out in one shot. So that blend of skill and power, you really got to respect that, and that's why that's my top of the year.
For a comeback of the mid-year, I wasn't sure what to go with, so I went with Alexander Vosdik. Comes back after a pretty rough go of it. He had a bit of a skid, was on the comeback trail, and then they brought him in to kind of be beaten by David Benavidez, and he gives Benavidez all he can handle. Even if he lost, as I thought he did, he upset the narrative quite a bit.
Oh yeah, I mean it brought into question, if Benavidez could really like hang as effectively at 175.
Exactly. But that's the only one I got.
I always forget that you do like career comeback style things, because I always think within a fight comeback.
I was looking for one that was like a momentum swing, but I couldn't find one.
I mean, the body one is, but he's already stoppage of the year. He doesn't get both. Just because I have to put him on the list somewhere, I'm going to say Inouye coming back after getting knocked down.
All right. Maybe.
It wasn't really that much of a comeback because he wasn't losing for very long, but
That
these
fight
ones
was good.
these ones are harder to research.
Yeah.
Because there's a million videos with KO highlights, but nobody does the like comeback videos.
Yeah, come off the canvas to rally back to win.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I have such a bad memory.
Yeah, for this one, I actually did give it to Bati. He was like, a big underdog coming into the fight. He was getting battered the entire fight. And then like in the 6th round, I mean, he just changed the entire narrative. Like this was supposed to be one of those, look at this MVP prospect.
Yeah.
We're going to put him on the world stage, and it just did not work out for MVP promotion or for MVP. It went viral as well. I thought that's why I put it as my comeback of the year, because he was not supposed to win that fight on paper.
I think last year that was one of my, I don't think it was my primary pick, but it was a similar situation. The Jerron O'Quinn, it was on the Bam Sunny card, and he was losing every single second of the fight until knockout punch.
Yeah, those are always the wild fights, because at a certain point you're like, oh, it's just in like, it's inevitable. We already know the outcome. And then, it's one of those, you might even switch to like, you're looking at your phone or something, and the knockout just comes. You just start hearing screaming coming from the pay-per-view.
Man, Silva, I have high hopes for him. I hope he can come back.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he handles it, because it was a scary knockout.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope he's okay. But that's one of those knockouts. It could do serious damage to his career.
Yeah, you were doing everything right, and then out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh, in like career comebacks, I'd have to say Farmer, actually. Tevin Farmer.
Interesting.
As much as I don't think he should be fighting, he looked really good in that fight.
He did. Gave Morataya a pretty rough one.
Yeah. I think you could argue that he won that one.
You could. The point
Like,
deduction was
definitely-
bullshit, for sure.
Yeah, definitely not a robbery, but you could argue that Farmer won that one.
I had like an honorable mention, like a little. I deleted it actually, but I had Vasily. I had Lomachenko on it just because he came back and won a title. I mean, he was talking that he didn't even want to fight anymore.
Yeah.
That he was considering retiring. I mean, and he was sort of pushed to come do this, and I mean, he ended up winning.
I think
So I
it's a
mean,
good
it's
one.
sort of a career comeback. Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
Lomachenko's in a weird spot because he
Yeah.
was offered that fight and he's like, nah.
Yes, and
No,
his career is
thanks,
sort of
guys.
in limbo right now.
Yeah, he pulled out of the tank negotiations. If I
Yeah,
recall
he said
correctly.
he's not fighting again until next year
Yeah.
or something.
But maybe that means we get Shakur Tank. So
Please.
honestly,
Save us.
please, yeah, yeah, I'm down for that too.
Moving on, comeback of the year. This is one that I'm going to give to Usyk as well. He started his fight versus Fury beautifully, but what ended up happening was that Fury got a sense of his timing and his range, and he started figuring out with his awkward style how to make Usyk struggle on those step-ins. And it really seemed like he had flipped the fight around the 7th round, and he was clearly ahead. And Usyk had to, as he's done in his career, he makes a ton of adjustments, especially down. Long story short, Usyk's the comeback fighter of the year. He had to make a comeback mid-fight versus Fury, blah, blah, blah. You also fight great.
All right, villain.
Okay, yeah. I mean, for me, it took me like maybe 3 to 5 seconds to think about this. I put down Ryan Garcia.
I mean, it's the only correct answer.
Yeah,
That is the top pick.
even before like a lot of like the crazy stuff he was saying, he was already getting a bunch of hate like from the boxing community for like not being professional. I mean, he was sort of making a mockery out of everything.
Yeah.
And then now he's sort of just spiraling. I mean, I don't even know what to think about him anymore, other than like he needs professional help. But I mean, he's in a real bad state right now with like his PR, I guess you could say.
His public image is in
Yeah.
the burning dumpster is where his image
Yeah.
is at right now.
It's completely changed.
Yeah.
Completely.
The satanic conspiracies about the Olympics, dropping hard British cigarette words at people.
Yeah.
Not cool, man.
He really does need somebody to step in and like save him from himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been talking about him needing professional help for a while. That's
Oh yeah.
that's pretty much the only context that anybody should be talking about him in is you need help. You need to stop what you're doing.
Yeah.
You need help.
Yeah.
For a villain, I didn't pick Ryan Garcia because he was the very obvious one. So I'm trying to go for other things. Let's see. Here's a cheeky one. Edward Hernandez Sr. 120 to 108 for Martinez over Ioka. Are you fucking kidding me? Absolutely not. That is unacceptable. You piece of shit.
Yeah.
But my main one, I picked Canelo for sniping Munguia while he's still green, and then he picks fucking Berlanga as his next opponent. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Inexcusable.
Yeah,
That's completely
pathetic.
inexcusable.
Fucking
I'm a
pathetic.
Canelo fan, and that's crazy.
Yep, I am too.
I don't know why that's happening.
Nobody wants that fight.
Exactly.
Like-
It wasn't when I first like heard it like rumored. I was like, oh, this is a joke.
Yeah, I thought it was
Like,
a joke.
this will never happen, or this will never happen, and lo and behold, it ended up happening. I can't believe Berlanga. Everyone's gonna get a bag.
He's doing his best on social media to try and save it, try and make it something, but nobody's having it. I'm trying to remember who. I think somebody had a purse bid recently, and the results were really poor. I think it was Devin Haney or something.
Oh yeah, where
Yeah.
Mushroom didn't even bid on it.
Yeah, Matchroom didn't bid on it, And I heard something. I thought, like, man, that's a really shitty thing of Eddie Hearn to do, to not bid for one of his fighters. But then he came out and he's like, Devin Haney is not signed to Matchroom. Devin Haney is promoted by Devin Haney Promotions. So I don't know why I'm supposed to assume all the risk here for someone who is not a very profitable fighter.
You can't have it both ways.
Yeah, you want to be your own promoter? Go ahead, bid on the fight for yourself. But so that was one that I ended up pulling off of my villain pick.
Fair. Obviously Ryan Garcia, but if we're doing not obvious, Jonathan Rodriguez for missing weight by 6.5
pounds. Bro, what are you doing?
There was no attempt.
No,
absolutely
he didn't even try.
No attempt. You're fighting at 115 pounds. That's
you're 2 divisions over,
like
dog.
5%.
Yeah, I was gonna say at the lower weight division, that's actually a crazy amount to be over.
Yeah, it's madness. So he is my villain so far. I really wanted to see Tanaka fight, and he made it not happen.
Right, because Kosei Tanaka's in the hot seat, because there's Bam and Martinez now, and Kosei Tanaka's the odd one out here.
Yeah.
We'll see if he can bring that one back around.
Also, I'm disappointed Bam didn't come to that fight. He is not a villain. But I wanted him to come in the ring so I could at least say I saw him.
Yeah. That would have been cool if he went.
Villain of the year. My villain is Canelo. He is the enemy of good matchmaking and legacy fights. Just the absolute duck job he's been doing on David Benavidez is shameful. It's disgraceful to the sport for someone who used to chase legacy fights too. This is really disappointing. He's fought Jaime Munguia, and not only did he not, I don't know what's going with that, but he should have stopped this guy. Munguia is just like a couple steps above a prospect. He just started beating the journeyman of the division, and yet Canelo seemed satisfied to take him to a decision. And then after that, he scheduled a fight with Edgar Berlanga, which is like even worse. And I'm sure he'll go to decision with that guy too. So he's a villain. The runner-ups to that are Teofimo Lopez and Strucker Stevenson. Being the enemy of just fun, the enemy of entertainment, they suck. So the less said about them, the better.
All right, hero time.
Hero time. I actually didn't have anyone for this yet.
Do you want one of mine?
Yes.
I'll give you my Inoue one. I had him as my hero pick. He beat the shit out of Neri for 6 rounds, but also he spent a lot of time supporting his gym mates, going to their fights, carrying their belts out, hyping them up. Great pick.
He went to Korakuen Hall like 3 times.
Yeah, he's always...
Because I was there twice, and the other time I had planned to go and I had to work late, and I was pissed off. Because one of these times I am going to manage to like corner him somewhere and get an autograph and fangirl out.
It's not what I expected you to say with cornering. But there you go. Inoue's your hero. That was my pick, though. It's my primary one.
I just want a handshake.
Beat Neri gym homies. All right.
All right. For me, I don't know. Like, there wasn't really one that stood out for me, like, as a hero. But, people may call me a fanboy for this. And I am. Usyk. I went with Usyk for yet another one. Like, sort of a hero in a different way. Like, it's not like he beat someone, like, super bad. But, like, in a fight that was starting to go in a pretty bad way for him, I was actually pretty concerned that, a stoppage was on the way. He dug deep for his family and, his countrymen with everything that's going on. And he put together a rally that was catastrophic for Fury. And, he ultimately won the fight, by digging deep. And I don't know, it was sort of inspiring to see that fight. Him going down, kissing the cross, thinking about his family, and then he was talking about his father afterward. That's who I put down.
All right.
But, also, I don't like Fury, so
I don't care for him either.
Bad.
Okay, so for mine, besides Inoue, I had Brian Mendoza when Keith Thurman got injured and wasn't going to fight Tim Tszyu. Fundora moves up to the main event. Brian Mendoza steps in to fight Bohachuk, and part of the hero, the hero moniker is that typically we call them heroes so that because they're going to suffer physically, or somehow they're going to suffer for their greatness or whatever. And Mendoza got his ass kicked. He has an emote on Discord. It's called 8AB. Because that's what he looks like. He fucking bit down on one.
His face is so swollen in that picture.
Yes. I had another one that was more for fun. Hero is Ben Whitaker for triggering the fucking libs in boxing. All of these like, that's not what boxing's about. Shut the hell up. Keep doing it, Ben. Keep fucking getting it.
It's his own thing, yeah.
Sorry, Leo, but I just remembered who my other villain pick was.
Is it Ben
the
Whitaker?
Fucking doctor. No, the doctor in the Tim Tszyu fight.
Oh, man. Or
God,
hit the
know his
fucking
name,
cut
but
man.
yeah.
Or Tim's fucking cut man.
Yeah, the corner or the doctor or fucking everybody in that Tim Tszyu fight. With a cut like that in the second, it should have been a no contest, which sucks for your main event on Prime, but whatever. Like, that was unfair to make him fight like that.
I'll have to add another hero along this route. The blood bank that probably refilled Tim Tszyu afterwards.
Jesus.
That was bad. Yeah, that guy was bad.
That was rough.
Well, and that's why he had to pull out of that next fight because
against Virgil.
The cut's
Ortiz,
still not
yeah.
healed enough.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a bad cut. Like, I mean, I feel like people are gonna target that area now.
It's a hard place to
From now on.
target, at least. Like,
Yeah,
it
like the
really
top
is
of the head.
top of his head.
Yeah.
But I cannot believe that nobody stopped that for him. Like, you can't expect a boxer to do it because then people talk about no heart. Although in that case, I think that would be ridiculous. But his corner,
he was game to
the
continue,
doctor,
yeah.
somebody should have stopped that.
Talking about no heart, like, I don't know. You can see it is visible on his person that his heart is working very well. A bunch
So
of
much
pumping
blood.
blood.
My runner-up here, I wanted to give another one to Usyk, right? He beat the big doctor, cut Tyson Fury and all that. But I have to give it to Anthony Joshua for restoring the honor and dignity to the sport of boxing by dispensing Francis Ngannou after he made a total fool of the sport by almost beating at the time, WBC champion Tyson Fury. So I'm going to give it to Joshua. He's the man. He's the hero so far. And I'm excited to see what the second half of 2024 holds. Peace.
Man, those are the only categories we got. I don't know. Is there any?
Oh, what about like a masterclass?
Oh, I forgot
Category.
about that one. Masterclass and ass
You know
beating.
what comes to mind immediately with masterclass? Dmitry Bivol is in that. That fight was clinical.
With
Yeah,
the like Libyan dude or something.
yeah. I forget his first name, but it was something Zanad.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Bivol. I mean, he got a KO in him. He got a TKO. I mean, you know, that hadn't happened, or hasn't happened for a while for him. But man, he was surgical with how he
It
how he
was.
came into it. Like, it wasn't even like 2 minutes into the fight, he had already figured him out.
Bivol's
like-
always surgical. It's not the most exciting style, but Bivol is so skilled.
I'm so excited to see that better be a fight.
Man, the Quebecois fucking better be a versus Indio, California's own Dmitry Bivol. Masterclass.
Masterclass of the year is, this is a weird one for maybe some people, but it's Inoue versus Neri. And it's weird because how could it be a masterclass when you get knocked down for the first time in your career when you're Inoue? And the reason is, aside from that, literally that one punch, Inoue won every other second of that fight. And he styled on Neri, even like not even a round and a half after the knockdown. He was already taunting and flashing his skills, and he very, very quickly ran away with it. And then, of course, knocking Neri out later into the fight. I mean, just exclamation point on a beautiful performance. So that's my masterclass of the year.
Fucking loser, another entry, Shakur Stevenson, for another stinker. Absolute dog shit fight. Villains, the people who robbed my man Oshaki Foster.
Oh, I felt bad. I actually felt bad.
I legitimately felt bad watching that too. I felt terrible. Like, man, yeah, you didn't just, I don't know.
I mean, that belt was what Foster was relying on for money.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they just took it away from him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretty bad robbery.
Yeah. Disappointing.
Idiot of the year that is not just straight up crazy is also Shakir for not taking the extension on his contract, the $5 million minimum or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I mean, maybe he was
especially
after
that performance, there's no fucking way.
Yeah, you're not getting that offer again.
Yeah, maybe he's just trying to cash out with the Tank fight, then he'll call it quits or something like that. I don't know, but I don't know. I feel like his career has sort of gone awry at the moment.
Well, and telling the fans that you don't care about them is just not the way to get fans.
Your hometown fans at that.
Yeah. This is not the Olympics. Not the Olympics.
His mini breakdown after that was actually kind of funny to watch. They were paying people to boo and they paid people to leave early, but I sold out that stadium because I have so many fans. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, even if he's not going to be exciting in the fights, I wish he was at least, in the press conference or leading up, like at least say you're going to knock him out, or at least try to stir something up.
I think that's actually part of the problem, is he always says he's going to knock people out, and he's not going to. Say you're going to make him look like an idiot. Say you're going to clown on him for 12 rounds.
Temper expectations a little bit.
Be realistic.
Yeah.
It's just only because I feel like if he really wanted to, he could, like, and I'm not saying he's gonna get like a one-punch KO, but like he could like string something together, like like Mason or I mean I'm not saying like Boots, but sort of in that way. I mean, you can make it exciting.
Of course.
This is an entertainment business.
Yeah,
this is an entertainment business. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's sort of annoying because he is good. He is good, and he could be exciting too, but he just sort of chooses not to.
Which is more frustrating than somebody who just doesn't have the skill to be exciting.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Hearing Shakur, I mean, I always say it after his fights. I'm never going to see him again, or I don't want to see him in a main event, and it's just the same thing over and over again. Like, I mean, there's no changes in anything that he's doing. It's always boring.
It's what he does.
Beating of the year. I don't know. Maybe Munguia. Like, Canelo kind of just kicked his ass for however many rounds that was.
It's a 12er.
He did like decently in like the first few rounds, and after that uppercut, it was just over.
Yep, that was lights.
Like there was nothing competitive after that.
Yeah, and he tried. Like Munguia tried the whole fight.
Oh, in the first few rounds, he attacked Canelo.
Yeah, he did.
A few times. I mean, but Canelo's got the good chin, but after that uppercut, man, I mean, I guess he was concussed or must have been concussed because he just did not look the same after that.
What about Munguia beating up on Ryder?
Was that this year?
It was January.
Oh.
I mean,
Yeah,
that was bad for Ryder.
Yeah,
that was really bad for Ryder.
He retired Ryder.
Yeah, like there was nothing competitive about that fight. Nothing.
Munguia looked really good that fight. I was super hyped.
Yeah. Coming off of that, no wonder he got the Canelo fight after that.
Yeah,
but
that
now
fight
we're
was
getting
at least,
Berlanga. Are you serious?
Yeah, I could at least justify the Munguia fight. There's nothing I can even say about Berlanga. Like, this guy's been a clown for like over a year now. I mean, this guy's been a clown for a while, and I mean, he's not coming off some like emphatic win or anything like that. It's just happening because it is. I mean, there's no justification for it.
Yeah, it's an easy one. Sellable, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, Canelo would sell with like, you know, a cab driver, but man,
it's not what we want.
I don't know.
It's not what anybody
I
wants.
I want to see something else for Crawford or Benavidez.
Yeah, everyone wants Benavidez. That's the one that everybody wants to see.
Absolute thing of the year, Anthony Joshua knocking out Francis Ngannou. Ngannou shocked a lot of people when he nearly upset Tyson Fury before he fought Usyk. This was kind of billed as, what do they call this? From Ring of Fire. But they knockout chaos. That's what that was. We knew someone was getting knocked out, and we believed just for how well Ngannou overperformed versus Fury, and just the chinniness that we've seen from Joshua. That like, hey, look, maybe it's not out of the realm of possibility that Joshua gets knocked out cold here. But that wasn't what happened. Joshua completely schooled him. It was not even close, and I mean, definitely a runner-up for stoppage of the year with this one. I mean, devastating, completely folds Francis in the second round. Not even close. That's an absolute thing if I've ever seen one. So,
do you think Crawford can go up that high in weight?
I'm sure he
said
could.
He could. Yeah. If he said he would, I think he actually would.
Okay.
Which is something because
I have to admit, Crawford fights so infrequently that I often kind of just forget about him.
Yeah.
I mean, he fights like one time a year. It is sort of annoying, and like, well, he's like 38, 37 now, right?
Yeah, he's past his he's mid-30s at the youngest.
Yeah, see, I feel like Canelo should have taken that fight. I feel like that it could have been winnable. Would have been rough, but I don't know. The size advantage and
yeah. Well.
Yeah, I don't know. Disappointing.
Every time I hear Berlanga's name, it makes me think of like an ape. Orangutan, I guess. I don't know. That was terrible.
What?
That's my transition to get us the hell out of here because this is we've been going on for a little bit. So
okay,
Berlanga the orangutanga. Deal with it. I'm leaving it in.
Such a good way to end this.
I know.
Amazing
I'm really
episode.
good at this. Let's do one of. Hey, thanks for joining us for this special edition of the Boxing B-Sides podcast. Oh, if you have any fucking comments or our picks just really bug you, why don't you let me know what yours are? 833-589-7637. You can call or text. It's anonymous either way. If you think that you are sufficiently entertaining and or informative, you can call, go straight to voicemail, and if you're entertaining or something, I'll cut you in, and it'll be fun. Otherwise, 833-LUXPODS, that's the number. So if you want to get some picks in, let us know. There is quite a bit of stuff that I cut out. I left in mostly just the main substance of the title of, mid-year picks, but there was a lot of fun that we had on the side of it. If you want to hear unedited, uncensored, unfiltered, go to patreon.com, look us up there, LVX Media Net. That's the handle on Patreon, Instagram, Twitter, everything else. That's what we use. If you can't find it, we're not on it. So we will be back. We'll continue with the regular scheduled program. Those. And then we do parting words. Nobody?
Drip's always the one with parting words.
Yeah. Well, it's what? Drink your water. Stay hydrated. Use sunscreen. Make sure you eat breakfast. Whatever the fuck else. I'm trying to remember what else. Also,
wash behind your ears.
Yeah, wash behind your ears. Double Johnny Red on the rocks.
My parting words are fuck summer. I hate summer.
Me too.
Everything about it sucks.
Winter is better. I know it might be a hot take, but winter is better.
I love winter. Much better. But I mean, where I live, summer is basically only going out at night time.
That doesn't even work here near Tokyo. I think the night lows are 28.
It's still hot here, but it's tolerable because it's not humid.
It's gross. And the fucking bugs. What are the screamy bugs? Cicadas?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They're whole brood. Well, in the U.S., there's a brood at least right now.
Yeah. I grew up too far north for cicadas. I had never heard them before, and they are awful.
They can get really loud. I grew up in the South, the United States, and yeah, they can get bad. But apparently they're even worse now. So
yeah, it's fucking loud. It's loud out here. It's not very fun.
My parting words would probably be, I don't know. I'm just hanging on till August 3rd. If I'm being honest.
Oof.
For more excitement, because I don't know. The past few weeks have been rough for fights.
Oh man, Leon. What has happened?
Remember the decision. Remember the decision.
But that's I don't know if I have. I don't think I have anything. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. It's not saying a lot.
Yeah, that's not good advice.
It's perfect advice. If you think Ryan Garcia would like it, don't do it. How's that?
That's good advice.
Yeah. All right. That's gonna cut it for this. The mid-year picks for the boxing B-sides. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.